Welcome back to part 2 of tutorial 2, where we work with cell formats and apply conditional formatting. I have sales report opened, and before we continue formatting the worksheet, I'm going to insert another function into column P. I'll go ahead and type average and hit enter. Notice the red format copies over. Then I'll take the average of the monthly sales for this store by hitting equals, and then on the home tab going over to the auto sum down arrow and selecting average. Excel assumes that I want to average C27 all the way to O27, but I don't want to include the total in the average, so I'll click right after the O and backspace and insert an N, and then I'll hit enter. I can copy that formula down by clicking on it and then going to the bottom right hand corner until I get to the cross, clicking and dragging all the way down that column. See how it fills in nicely. To ensure that similar data is displayed consistently, I can utilize a style. The Cell Style Gallery has a variety of built-in styles to choose from. I'll go ahead and click on B4, and in the Styles group, I'll go to the Title style. Now I'll select B5 through F5 by clicking on B5, holding down the Shift key, and then going to F5. Go to Cell Styles and select Accent 3. Now I'll select A25, go to Styles, and select the Title style again. Next, we'll copy formats from one worksheet to another using the Format Painter. On the documentation sheet, I'll select A1 and A2 and click on the Format Painter button. Now when I go over to the Sales Report sheet, I can paste that format by clicking on A1. I'll go ahead and double click on A2 to edit, and I'll change Big Flavor to 14 points, and that will match the documentation page. I'll select B4 through F12 and click on the Format Painter to copy that to the section below. Click on B14 and the format copies down. Lastly, I'll apply a percent format to F23 by going to percent and then increasing the decimal by 2 places. The Find and Replace option can help change text throughout the worksheet. In the Editing group, click the Find and Select button. I'm going to go down to Replace, and in Find What, I'll type AVE for Avenue. I want to replace that with Avenue. And I'll go ahead and replace all. Excel has made 3 replacements. I'm going to go ahead and do that with street, so instead of the abbreviation, I'll go ahead and replace that with the entire word, street, and replace all. So I use this Find and Replace feature to expand the names street, lane, drive, and road. So I'll go ahead and hit close. Now I can check to make sure that it's all expanded. And it looks good. To change the worksheet theme, go to the Page Layout tab and click on Themes. You can hover over the different themes to see what they would look like. I think I'm going to go ahead and stick with the Office theme for now. We can also apply rules to cells that work behind the scenes to change formats. I'll make all negative values appear in red. So I'll select the non-adjacent range E6 to F12 and E16 to F22. On the Home tab in the Styles group, I'll go over to Conditional Formatting, then point to Highlight Cell Rules. I'll go over to Less Than, and for cells that are less than 0, I'd like the text to appear red. And I'll click OK. I can check the condition by going to D8 and entering 4,576 and then hit enter. You'll notice because I have that condition rule, the color of the font changes from red to black. I'll go ahead and undo that action to bring it back. Now I'll select the range P27 to P46, and I'm going to go ahead and apply a condition here. Notice the Quick Analysis tool comes up. I can use that Quick Analysis tool by showing the top 10% if I'd like. Looks like there's a couple stores there. I'd really like to show the top 5 stores, so I'm going to undo that condition and click on Conditional Formatting and go to Top Bottom Rules and over to Top 10. I'd really like to see the top 5 stores, so I'll decrease it down to 5. And those 5 stores, I'd like green fill with dark green text. And I'll click OK. Now we need a legend so readers know why these cells are highlighted. So I'll select P49 and type light green. I'll go to my conditional formatting and highlight cell rules and go to text that contains. I'd like the cell that contains the text light green to go to green fill with dark green text. So I'll click OK. And in O49, I'll type top 5 stores. Hit enter, click back into it, and give it a cell style of explanatory text. Now the reader knows that the top 5 stores are highlighted in light green. Now we're ready to format the sheet for printing. I'll click on the page break preview and zoom out a little bit so that I can see the entire worksheet. I notice many pages are set to be printed here. I'd like to define exactly what I want to print, so I'm going to select A1 to F24 and A25 to P49. Now in the Page Layout tab, I can go to Print Area and set that print area. Now only the selected ranges will print. To customize the page breaks, I'll first move the page break that's to the right of L off of the page. So I look for the arrows, click, and drag the margin over. I'm going to do the same for the margin right by F. Drag it over. Now I'll highlight column I and set a page break right to the right of it. In the Page Setup group, click on Breaks and then Insert Page Break. Now I've customized where that page break will be. I can ensure titles repeat on each page by clicking on the Print Titles, and I'll click to the right of rows repeat at the top, and I can select the rows. I'm going to go up to A1 and A2, and I'll hit Enter to bring back the page setup. Now I'll go to columns that repeat at the left. I'll highlight A and B. Then I'll go to Page and adjust this to 65% of normal size. Now Print Preview will show me what it looks like. There's the first page, the second page, and the third page. To create a header and footer, click on Page Setup, which will be in the bottom right-hand corner of the Page Setup group, and you can click on Header and Footer and click on the Different First Page to customize the documentation page. I'll click Custom Header, and in the left box I'll put File Name, space, and I'll find the icon that has the actual file name. Then I'll tab and go to the right section, and there I'll click the icon Current Date, and then click OK. Now click Custom Footer, and in the center section we'll type Page, spacebar, then the page number icon, spacebar, then of, space, and the icon that is total number of pages. Now I'll click on the First Page Footer tab, and in the right section I'll write Prepared by, and then click OK. Now to set the margins, I'm going to make the left margin about 1 inch. So I double click, make it 1, and click OK. Let's do one last check of what things look like. I'll go to File and then Print. The first page has a footer Prepared by, and the second page has a footer 2 of 3, and the third page is 3 of 3. This concludes this tutorial 2 on formatting workbooks. Excel provides many tools to visually enhance data.